Our first artist on the show this morning goes by the name of Jacob Shine. The hip-hop artist is from Zeerust in the Northwest. He's worked with the likes of Kid Tini, Jayhood and Lolli Native. Furthermore, he's released tracks titled Abasazi, Let Me Go and Home. He's currently working on an upcoming project titled Overdue and joins us now this morning to share a little bit more on that project. Jacob Shine, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me this morning.
How's it going, man?
All is well, my brother. Yourself?
Good to see you. Good to have you on the show.
Yes, sir.
Who is Jacob Shine and how did your music career start?
My music career started by the influence of my older brother. He's somebody who was always playing music around the house, and I just adapted to the nature of, okay, we have music in the house playing, and I loved the idea of listening to hip-hop music, writing the lyrics from other artists. And one day I just thought, hey, let me try to do it myself, because I feel like this thing is a cool thing. So that's where it kick-started, and yeah, it's been up and going ever since.
What kind of music did he play? I mean, for you to be influenced by his music?
Popular music, R&B music, hip-hop, quite obviously local stuff, house music, So it was something that I just gravitated to in terms of when I related more with hip-hop. Right. And I was like, this is something that I think I could see myself doing. And I just kept going at it, and I enjoyed it, and it became something that I thought I could actually make a career out of this, yes.
What is it about hip-hop that tickles your fancy? I mean, why do you like hip-hop? What is it about it?
I've always been somebody who's into spoken word, poetry to some extent, and for me that's what hip-hop is. It's just a self-expression thing where you just speak from your heart, and yes, there's melody involved, and there is that concept of actually telling a story behind whatever it is that you are telling. Being able to tell a story in that context was something that stuck to me.
I'm actually glad you raised that point, Jacob, because, there's always been this stereotype about hip-hop music and hip-hop artists, because if you look at some of the hip-hop videos, it always portrays naked women, alcohol, jewelry. There's always been that stereotype. So how are you breaking that stereotype?
By telling my story, number one. I feel like if I'm being honest in music, if I'm telling the version of what I've experienced, I cannot tell you about something I don't know about or have not experienced or saw somebody go through, whereby I could actually relate with their story enough to tell it and tell their story as well. So besides the stereotype of all those things that you mentioned, at the end of the day, it's upon you as an artist, what do you want to tell? What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known for girls and stuff like that? Look, there's times for that, I won't lie. There's music that correlates with that type of imagery, but there's deeper context if people take the time to listen.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What stories do you tell? I mean, what do you write about? What do you rap about?
I write about the stuff that I've experienced. I write about the stuff that impacts me. I write about the stuff that I've seen growing up, the stuff that I actually aspire to as well, the stuff that I see maybe my peers going through. I write about happy stuff. I write about stuff that actually matters to me and people around me, because I feel like that's the important thing. Same way I consume music, where somebody speaks onto something that I relate to, it's the same energy that I want to give out.
Okay. And which hip-hop artists do you listen to, and how have they influenced your own music?
Coming all the way from Northwest, WHP, may rest in peace, has been somebody that I always looked up to, besides the size,
There we go.
Locally, like, there's too many rappers to mention. Kulichana, Morafe is a crew, and when you go abroad, there's so much music that we're consuming from America and stuff like that. I grew up listening to Tupac, Biggie, artists like in those lines. But I'm more of a person who, if it's nice, I vibe with it. I don't have a specific sound or energy that I stick to, that I only listen to these type of artists. No, anything that sounds good to my ear is something that I get along with.
Jacob, would you say that you are one of those who sort of sparked the revolution of hip-hop music? I mean, say for instance, Gqom music originated in KZN, Amapiano in Gauteng, in Pretoria as it were, and arguably hip-hop originated in the Northwest. Are you also of the same view?
I would say, for me personally, coming into the hip-hop genre per se, and understanding the game, the industry as a whole, I've gotten to understand that there's so many layers to it, and what you have intentions of bringing to it is solely based on how it has affected you as an individual. You experience something in the hip-hop industry and you become whatever it is that you think that it needs in that moment in time.
Sure.
I believe that I'm somebody who's just bringing a good energy. I believe that I'm somebody who's good enough to actually create his own path where it can be well documented and people can be like, okay, the way he did it actually kind of works. Yeah.
Let's talk about your music making process. I mean, how do you come up with a song?
There's multiple ways that I go about it. Sometimes you find the right beat from a producer. Like I work with a guy called Knife Beats. He's been making a couple of hits in the hip hop field. He would send me a beat, something that he feels like the way I approach music is something that I would actually gel well with. Sometimes I come up to him with an idea like, yo, can you make something along these lines? I've got a concept that I want to work on that is, you know, in this way, and he's like, okay, cool, then we make something from there from scratch. Yeah, so it also goes down to mood, like depending on whatever mood that we're in that moment, and then we can figure it out from there.
Yeah, you know, Jacob, you're currently working on your project Overdue, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's way long overdue, right?
It's long overdue, yeah, because I should have actually had a couple of projects under my belt, but with the challenges that I've come across in the game as well, that's why I feel like, okay, that's something worth mentioning, that I know this project is overdue, but when it does come, it's going to be worth it.
And I'm still yet to come across an artist who says that they haven't been through any challenges. Each and every artist has been through a certain challenge. So what are some of these challenges you've just mentioned?
Platforms, if I'm going to be honest with you. Getting access to certain platforms, whether it be radio or TV, it has not been an easy process because, you know, number one, are you somebody who's worth the time for some people? That's what they question themselves. So I think right now my process was, let me add value to myself as an artist, that it would be recognizable to the next person, that even if I approach you and be like, okay, can we work on something, and it becomes a win-win situation more than a I'm helping you, there's nothing for me to gain type of situation.
Dude, you're on Morning Live.
Here we are.
And you're shining.
Yeah, no lie.
Jacob shining.
Thank you, brother. Yes, sir.
No, let's talk about, you know, how you go about featuring an artist. And I know that, you know, it might lead to our next, you know, question as to who would you like to feature in all your projects?
I'm one person who also believes in correlation in terms of our energies as individuals. So if I get to know you personally beforehand and I realize that actually where you are and where I am can work well in a type of scenario or a song that is of a certain nature, then we can take it from there. Sometimes I'll enjoy what I hear from another artist. To mention, like now, Lolli Native, somebody that I've worked with before. I liked people like Kid Tini. I've got music with him, and I just realized that, okay, actually my style would actually complement whatever these guys are also bringing to the table. I've got a guy of mine, Muciano, is somebody that I also gain inspiration from him as an artist, because he's very good at what he does, and that actually unlocks another level to me, whereby I can actually do better of what I can do and put it on record. Yeah.
Okay. Jacob Shine, lovely chatting to you, man.
Thank you.
Keep shining.
Definitely.
When should we expect Overdue?
As soon as it's out.
As soon as it's okay. Okay, good stuff. And how do your fans follow you?
On social media, Jacob_Shine on Twitter and Instagram, Jacob Motsabi on Facebook, and yeah. That's where you'll find me on the socials. Yeah.
Good stuff. All the best, man.
Thank you, brother.
Well, he just spoke to artist Jacob Shine on his music upbringing and his upcoming project. Make sure that you tune into Morning Live for more scintillating sounds from him. All right, let's take a coffee break. We'll be back shortly.